There's a lot of different cultures. It's like
Obviously,
melting
it has
kind of just a shell.
a certain amount of freedom.
Obviously, it's not too
Shell of something that
Kind
used
of
to be
really
Positives.
very grand at one
But I think
time.
that's what
You
you
can,
need to see because
see it in
of
pictures.
the experience this place has had, the people that live
The
there,
wide
the
open
events that happen,
streets,
everything happens.
It's too.
It's kind
So,
of just sad. I guess I have pretty mixed feelings about the whole thing. Because you pretty much do anything and make it succeed. But it's just as easy to do absolutely nothing and get along just fine that way. You know, it's like a curse and a blessing at the same time. I consider it home, but at the same time, I more than anything want to escape it, get away, because there's just personally not much I feel that it could offer me.
I take things personally because I do understand why this place is the way that it is. Obviously there's faults in it, as there's faults in every place and every person, and nothing's how it ideally could be, but I think it is how it should be because of the experience this place has had, the people that have lived here, the events that have happened. Like, everything happens for a reason. You know, it means if there's a sickness in this city, it's related to a sickness in the events of the city, things that have happened to the city, you know, events that have shaped people's minds. And I mean, there's a reason for everything.
There's a lot of different cultures. It's like a melting pot, but economically it's not too well. Personal struggle, when I used to walk to high school and stuff, you always had to go through like drug dealers and worry about drive-bys. Positive, I'm not sure. Probably just like you're able to, for me, most of my family was from Detroit, so it was like good having all the family close together. So like we were able to like go to school together. It was like family. We were more closer, more focused on like our culture. Like you have a lot of the Hispanic stores in Southwest, so. In Southwest, it's getting better. The communities are getting cleaner. Now with the casinos and everything, it's getting more like driving people this way with like the stadium. So I think it's improving.
Detroit, as when I was a kid, was a much more dynamic place to be in. Although we lived in a poor neighborhood, it was an ethnic neighborhood, and I really enjoyed living in Detroit, growing up in Detroit as a kid, and living there until I was a teenager, at which time I pretty much I stayed actually until I was joined the Coast Guard at age 21, so the first 21 years were in Detroit. Well, positives I see are a very strong economy in terms of the automotive industry and other industries too. So it's a good place to work. The negative I see is that ever since the riots of the 60s, Detroit's never recovered in terms of vitality, and I think it can only be a cultural shift that makes it improve. I think that a philosophy has to take root in Detroit and in the entire nation in order for a country to improve as well. Without that shift in ideology, if you will, or philosophy, I don't think Detroit will really ever get back to where it was.
It is a very complicated place that chronically suffers from segregation, and it will take a long time for it to recover. To me, it's like a living organism, an organism that's been neglected for a very long time, and now the consequences of that neglect are coming to the surface. But it's also a preview of what can happen to any other industrial town, any other place that is ruled by a merciless corporate world.
I think it has a certain amount of freedom. It kind of, I think that's what drew me to it, was the sense of freedom. The wide open streets and the tall, foreboding, empty buildings. It's possibility, it's freedom, it's possibility, it's hope, and it's also desperation. Ford, General Motors, the car companies, and the cars that really consume the entire city, and the individuals who are trying to get from point A to point B on foot are getting mowed down by the corporate icons driving around the streets. And it's this constant battle between those on foot and those in the car